So today I'm going to talk to you about subplots. I'm going to share with you exactly what they are, give you a definition, give you some examples, explain how to plot them out and what the general structure of a subplot is, and then answer a couple of common questions about subplots, like how connected they should be to the main plot and other things like that. Jumping right into it. What is a subplot? A subplot is a secondary storyline in a book, movie, or play that runs parallel to the main plot. It features its own beginning, middle, and end, and is used to deepen character development, reinforce thematic messages, or add tension to the central narrative. Or, side note from Claire, just to be fun. So basically, if your book is a murder mystery that has the main plot of a mystery getting solved, like some old guy dies in his house and, the mystery has to be solved to figure out who killed him. That's the main plot of the mystery novel. And a subplot could be if your two detectives fall in love while they're working the case. Does the romance necessarily accelerate the mystery? Probably not, maybe not, but is it fun and does it deliver pleasure to your readers? In my personal opinion, yes. So in that case, your main plot would be the mystery and your subplot would be the romance. So how many subplots should your book have? It really depends on what book you're writing and what you personally want as a writer. There really is no hard and fast rule. For me personally, I really love there being a lot going on in my books. I write books that have a lot of stuff happening in them, and so I tend to have a lot of subplots. I love books with romance subplots, so I tend to throw romances into all my books. I love friendships developing, so then I have those. How many subplots you have also can really depend on the length of the book. Like if you're writing a longer book, you can probably support more subplots. If you're writing a really short book, you probably don't want to have too many. But this is really up to your own artistic discretion. So you may be thinking that anything that happens outside of the main plot could be considered a subplot, but it's not quite that simple because a subplot needs to function in a certain way to be a subplot. The function of a subplot is to change something. So if it's a developing friendship subplot, the change is that the characters start out the book not being friends and then they end the book being friends. Or if it's a romance subplot, the characters start out not being in a relationship and then they end being in a relationship. Or if you're writing a slow burn like I like to write, it ends with their hands brushing. So if your subplot effectively changes something in the character and functions as there being some kind of change, in order to plot out a subplot, every single subplot I like to plot out just like a mini story arc. So when I am plotting a book, I always plot on a story arc. You have I don't know if you've ever seen that chart of a story arc that kind of the graph looks like this, and on the bottom axis you plot out time, and on the top axis, vertical axis, you plot out tension. And so your tension over the course of the story, and your major plot points are you have your point of entry right at the beginning of the curve, then you have your inciting incident as the action starts to pick up a little, you have your rising action as it goes up on the slope, and then at the top you have your climax right at the top of that curve, and then you have a resolution that comes down. Every single chapter of your book, at least the way that I like to plot them, should also have this structure. If you think about a book as being one giant arc like that, and then every single chapter is one of those little tiny arcs that is placed on the larger arc. And then you can even take it a step further, and if you're writing a series, your entire series should exist on that general arc. Your book 1 is here, your book 2 is here, your book 3 is here, book 4 is here, and book 5 is here. Or really, not fully resolution, but your books kind of go in that structure. And if you go down to the subplot level, this structure is still the same. You still have this beginning, middle, and end rising tension type structure. Now, does it always work out this way when you're actually writing the subplot? No. Should it always work out this way? No. Writing is an art form, and you as the artist are going to have a better understanding of exactly how you want to plot out your subplots in a way that feels right. But this is a great way to start, and to start intellectually thinking about how to plot out a subplot. So first you want your subplot to have a beginning. Let's say we're just doing a romance subplot, we're taking the subplot of the detectives that fall in love while they solve the mystery. Your beginning of your subplot is your two characters meeting, and they have some sort of meet cute, usually in a romance. Maybe, their hands, they have they don't like each other. They're rival detectives, and they both show up on the crime scene and they just are giving each other the cold shoulder. That's the beginning of your subplot. Your rising tension of your subplot is, or your rising action, is when these two detectives have the forced proximity and they're both put on the case, or for some reason they're both put on the case, and they're both very angry about the fact that they both have to work in such close proximity in the creepy murder mansion to figure out who did it. Maybe there's an avalanche and they're snowed into the creepy murder mansion. They can't get away from each other, but they also realize that they have to work together. But they're in a bit of a pressure cooker because they're in forced proximity with each other, and so the tension between them is slowly ratcheting up when you have that slope that kind of goes up. That's your middle, your like rising tension. Maybe you want to throw in a midpoint and have like a giant twist when, like, you know, the tension comes to a head and then they start to realize that they might actually have feelings, which is a pretty common giant midpoint reversal in a romance plot. Maybe they I don't know, they're snowed into the cabin and she takes off her really smart looking blazer and sees reveals an old scar on her shoulder, and he grips the edge of the table and is like, "Who did this to you?" and is very angry about it. And then she starts to realize that maybe he also has feelings for her. That's kind of your midpoint, and then the tension keeps getting higher and higher until all of a sudden they kiss. And then that's really, really exciting, and that's probably the climax of your romance subplot. And then the resolution is that they confess that they like each other and that they want to start dating. That's your general arc of your romance plot, and that itself as a structure can kind of stand alone from whatever else is happening with the mystery. Like, this is happening in tandem. You have all of the other stuff happening with the mystery, but, you know, when they kiss, it doesn't necessarily move the mystery plot forward in and of itself, and it acts separately, but it happens at the same time. So not all subplots need to have this level of detail. I'd say that, like, if you're doing a romance subplot, it should have a high level of detail. But if you're writing a subplot about two people becoming friends, maybe you don't need to have that much tension, but you still want to have a beginning, middle, and end. Like, at the beginning, they don't really know each other, and then something happens where they start showing acts of kindness towards each other, and then they start hanging out toward the end. That's enough to have a beginning, middle, and end. It doesn't need to be as involved as the previous structure for the romance subplot that I shared, but you need to have some sort of change that happens in a beginning, middle, and end. So do your subplots stay separate from the main plot, or can they be combined? Your main plot is the main conflict thread that goes through your story. If you're writing this mystery, the murder mystery, that is your main plot. All of the clues that advance the murder mystery and point towards a particular subject are the clues that move your main plot forward. And every chapter in your book has to mostly serve to move that mystery plot forward. That's your, like, main engine. And if you have two detectives falling in love while working the case, that is your subplot. Not every single chapter of your book has to work to move the relationship and the subplot forward, necessarily. However, the two detectives are connected to the main plot, because those two detectives are the ones that are discovering the clues and moving the mystery forward. And what you can do as a writer is connect the subplot into the main events of the mystery plot, but the romance isn't necessarily the thing that moves the mystery plot forward. The mystery plot has to be moved forward either way. The romance is something that is layered on top of, but isn't necessarily driving the mystery plot. But the events that happen during the mystery plot can overlap with the romance. Like, if these two characters are investigating a clue that just so happened to like they found in the manor, and their hands brush while they're reaching for the clue, that's something that moves both the romance plot forward and also, like, within a scene that is moving the mystery plot forward, because them finding that clue moves the mystery plot forward. So you can have some overlap, and you should. It would feel like a little awkward if these characters were together all the time and then all of a sudden you had another scene between them, like, constantly, where, like, that's the scene that moves their relationship forward. Like, it's good to have it connected to the main plot, but the things that move the romance forward aren't necessarily the things that move the mystery forward, and vice versa. So you can always overlap them. You're gonna need to add scenes to the mystery plot to move that forward that have nothing to do with romance, and you're gonna have to add things to the romance plot that have nothing to do with mystery to move that forward properly. It's always nice to have kind of a bit of a push and pull. Like, when you have a really exciting scene in a book, you give readers, like, a bit of a cooling off period. Like, you have something really, really high stakes that happens, and then you have something that changes the tone a little bit and is a little bit quieter, and then you have another really high stakes moment. And so if you're writing a scene like this, you should keep in mind balancing things. Like, you have a very high intensity moment where they find a clue, or, like, a suspect gets away, and then maybe they're, like, chasing a suspect and the suspect gets away and they're in a cop car or something after chasing the subject after the avalanche has somehow disappeared. I don't know, this is a little bit of a crazy example. They're in the cop car together and they're frustrated because the suspect went away, and you have a bit of a quiet moment where, like, I don't know, I'm gonna keep using this, their hands brush again, and then, you know, we're like back to the quiet moment of the romance. But then after that hands brush moment where they have the shivers that go up their arm, they're like, oh no, like I just thought of another thing that has to do with the mystery plot. What if we try this? And then you go back to the action. So you have this push and pull between action and calmness to give your readers a chance to digest a little. So with all that being said, subplots are not a necessary addition to a book, but they are very fun, and whether or not something is a subplot and how involved you want that subplot to be is really up to the writer. You don't need to have a certain amount of subplots in your book for it to be an interesting book. You probably don't want to have too many to worry about your book being spread too thin, and to worry, like, you don't want there to be too much going on all the time, and you also don't want to have to spread your attention and like your pages between too many things so that you can't properly dig into all of them, like from a pacing perspective. But when I'm plotting out a book, I like to treat all of my romances as a subplot. I like to treat all of my character arcs as a subplot, even though these are slightly, I mean, they're a little different than a subplot, but they still function in the same way. Like, they change in some way, and action, like things in the plot work to change that character, and so I like to think of it in that same story arc way. But there's no definitive, like, you need this many subplots or you can't have over this number of subplots for it to function as a book. I like to keep track of my subplots on a plot grid. I use plot grids to outline my books, and I have found it to be just the most incredible writing tool ever. I've made a couple of other videos on this channel about plot grids, so if you're interested in checking those out, I can link them in the description of this one. But I like to assign a column of my plot grid to every single subplot, just so I can track how they're developing over the course of the book, and like how they can potentially overlap with events in the main plot, because then I can see everything that happens in the main plot at the same time, like, as the subplot. You'll understand when you watch the plot grid video how this works, but that's how I like to keep track of it, and that makes it really simple, because otherwise I haven't found another way other than just holding it generally in my head, and that's not always useful. But that's all for this video. I hope that that was helpful to you. If you have a second, I would be super grateful if you could give this video a like and also subscribe to my channel. My name is Claire Fraze, and I'm an award-winning author who makes weekly videos sharing actionable writing tips that helped me make my own writing better. I am the author of the published 5-book paranormal thriller They Stay series, along with this book, The Love Trials, which came out a couple of weeks ago as of filming this video, and that I am so proud of and so excited to have out in the world. If you have any other questions about subplots, please feel free to ask them in the comments, and I will do my best to respond to you. I hope you have a fantastic week, everyone, and as always, happy writing.